Filming from Gen Con 2019, I'm here at the booth of Iello, where among the other games that they're presenting, they have a new Bruno Cathala design called Ishtar, and it is literally flying up the shelves. You can see the big pile melting as people just want to grab a copy after they see how beautiful it is and after they try to. And Diana from Iello has agreed to tell us a little bit about this game.
Yeah, so I'm Diana, I'm with Iello. What we have here is Ishtar Gardens of Babylon. So the story goes that there was once a gardener who tried to grow the best garden in the desert in Babylon. And he failed in those attempts because he was trying to grow it in the desert. So he cried out and his tears fell through the ground, through the sand. And Ishtar, the goddess Ishtar, heard his cries and saw his tears and brought them forward, and she created an endless supply of water through these fountains, and that's what we see here in the placement of Ishtar Gardens of Babylon. So the gameplay is we have a roundel here, and you have the first player indicator here. That is this tile. It's set up for 2 players here. Anytime that if you have 2 players, then the terrain boards are always a +2. So then you have 4 terrains in total, terrain boards. If you were to have 4 players, then you would add 2 to that, making it 6 terrain boards that would be active in play. So on my turn, I'm going to, this is the watering can that's going to help these water beds bloom, and that is the indicator of which tiles I can go ahead and place within the board. Now, because I am the first player, I get to set where I want this tile to go. So I'm going to place it nearest to a water source, and as I'm doing that, I have to just set this up here. You can see that there are a few gems here that could be collected around the board. So with this tile, it's going to replace here this area here full of rocks and the gems, and it's right by this water fountain, and I have now collected these 2 gems, which have values later on in the game. Every player starts with 1 gem, one of the purple gems here, and we have a player board that has assistants, these little meeple assistants here, and they will be activated within the game. Because I've drawn and selected a tile that has the assistant icon there, I get to, for free, actively set my gardening assistant on that tile. Now, I have these 3 gems. So I've placed the tile, I have added my assistant, and now I'm going to look at any, and I've taken my gems, I am going to look at any special actions that I can do. So we have an entire series of actions and skill sets that we can activate from the player board. All of the player boards look like this, with the differentiation of the colors, so that you know what the player color is. And so they have different skills that can be activated depending on what you draw in terms of the tile, meaning here, any actions that could be taken, and also any gem payments that I might want to do. So one of the things I'm going to analyze is I'm looking at the gems that I have in terms of their colors, and I'm looking here to see if there's anything that I might want to buy in terms of the trees that I will want to plant within my territory, at least on this level, since I've just begun that territory. So I don't want to do a lot. I might, for example, in this special action that we have here, I might want to trade 2 of these gems to get 2 gems of a different color. So I am allowed to do that, and that would activate this skill set and leave me here, and then I could proceed to my next action with the thought in mind that later on I want to collect on this one, and I would need 2 white gems, and I would need 2 red. So I'm lacking a red right now, so my strategy is going to shift accordingly. So right now I can't I can't claim a tree or place it on any of my greenery within my flowering areas. So what I will do is just to show the example, if I did have these two on another turn and I had collected, I would then just bring this back to my supply here, and where all the players can choose from on their actions. And then I will claim this tree, and I would earn 11 victory points that would be factored in at the end of the game. So I would then flip it over and keep it somewhere safe, so that hopefully throughout the game the players will forget what it is that I have under here, and I will then place the tree over here, knowing that later on one of my skill sets is if I am near an adjacent, if my gardening assistant is near adjacent to a tree, then I will collect 2 victory points once I have achieved that skill set or paid for that skill set. So this replenishes immediately, and then we add another tree to here, so you'll always have resources available. And then for the next player, they will go ahead and select from the next tile or pay a gem in order to this area to skip it. And that determines their strategy throughout the game. So those are some of the things that we can do. There are a lot of different skill sets here. For example, let's say I have activated this skill set, which means that I am paying 2 gems. It could be 2 gems of anything that I have here. I'll be paying 2 gems, and I am also adding these type of foliage to my to one of the territories that I could control.
Making it more verdant.
Exactly. So that later on I could collect more points for the flowers that I have growing on those gardens.
Nice.
So you are competing against one another in terms of territories. Sometimes you have areas that are like this, where you don't have a gardener, a gardening assistant, and you're collecting the gems. You're trying to build up the territory, but you might not have claimed that territory yet with your gardening assistant. So in that case, then it is important to cater your strategy accordingly so that you don't lose out on those points.
Excellent. So the game is being available here in a limited release.
It is. At Gen Con we have very limited release. We only got in about like 200 or so, 250 copies, and they, like you mentioned, they've been flying off the shelf. We will have some for Essen. The release is expected late October.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Diana, for telling us about Ishtar.